Marcus, I have a love-hate relationship with checklists. So my question to you is this: do checklists actually work? Go.
Well, I always basically try to personalize what we do for work so people can understand it. So if someone were to say, do I have a chore list? Do I basically write down stuff in my head the night before that I go to bed that I have to do around my house, like for the weekend? Yes. For work, do we write down all the little tasks and all the little stuff that we're going to check off the next day? Yes. And then we wake up the next day, in our personal lives and our work lives, and we pick them right up. So how important are checklists in our daily lives? Important. How important are checklists for going to the grocery store, for Christmas, for a party? Like, oh, don't forget to pick up, the strawberries. Like, oh, I forgot it. I left the checklist at home. Right. So once again, back to business. How important are checklists for commissioning? Hello. I mean, very important. And it's very important in construction. And it's also one of those areas that most people just, it's information overload. It's just too much. But at the same exact time, that's what documentation and verification is all about.
So a checklist is the evidence of verification and work, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you basically break it down to the root of it, and if we write something down and we actually have to, if there's a milestone, it's written down, it's a checklist. If there's a task, it's a checklist, right? Anything that you write down that, has like a yes or no or to do, I guess in essence, that's a checklist. So how important is the checklist in commissioning? The pinnacle.
All right. Yeah. So I have such a sort of mixed feelings on this. So let's acknowledge that the Building Commission Association's newsletter is called The Checklist, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I see what you're doing there, BCA. But so am I glad checklists exist? Yes, I have a to-do list. That's a checklist. Pilots do a checklist before they take off. I'm pretty happy about it.
Cross-check complete.
Yeah. Surgeons do a checklist to make sure they don't leave a pair of forceps in your body before they sew you up. Right. Okay. Yep. Those are good things. Not mad at that at all. My problem with checklists is this, and this is what I see. I arrive on a job, and I say to the contractor, have you done the pre-functional test sheets or pre-commissioning sheets if you're a Brit? They go, yeah, we've done all that. Here they are. And they give you this binder, right? And it's full of ticks and signatures. Then you walk out on site. I literally walked out on site on one job and the boilers hadn't even been installed. And I had a checklist saying they'd been installed and started up.
Yep.
Right. So that's called bullshit. Lying.
BSC, right? A BS checklist.
Yeah. So at that point, then checklists have zero value for me. But the contractor is showing me evidence that they've done it, right? As far as I'm concerned, that bit's done, moving on, right? And the problem with the checklist is it enables someone with no domain expertise at all to walk around and pretend they know what they're doing, right? This is called chauffeur's knowledge. You ever heard the story of chauffeur's knowledge?
No.
So this Austrian physicist, I can't remember his name, was going around lecturing at different universities in the early 1900s, right? And he's given these lectures and his chauffeur drives in there, chauffeur sits at the front, and he's seen this presentation so many times. The chauffeur says to him one day, I could do that presentation. Yeah. And he goes, okay, you do it. So next one we go to, I'll pretend to be the chauffeur, you get up there. So the chauffeur gets up, delivers this presentation perfectly, nails it. Then he gets a question and he can't answer it because he doesn't know what he's doing. So his answer is, that question is so ridiculous, my chauffeur will answer it for you.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
So that's called chauffeur's knowledge. When someone who goes around with a checklist for something technical,
yeah, and
they're ticking it off and they don't understand it, that's called chauffeur's knowledge, right? So that's the downside of checklists.
Yeah.
They are offered as faux, bogus evidence of work done.
No,
and this is why
point.
I am the anti-ASHRAE Guideline Zero guy. Because it implies if you follow a process,
yeah,
everything is all good and dandy. You can follow ASHRAE process and still come out with a building that sucks completely. And there is the problem.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And you're exactly right. That's why sometimes we're called flip switchers. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's just, and I always basically come back and say it's the process, and, recommendations and solutions, risk mitigation, QA, QC, but I can see that point too. And I think that once again, I think we're inundated by information. And so you're exactly right. I was supposed to be on a job last week in another location. And then when I basically wrote them on Friday evening, I said, well, I don't have any of the point-to-point checklists. I don't have the sign-offs. I don't have the test-ready forms. They're like, well, we filled out the stuff in, the CX software. I'm like, how many times did I ask for A, B, and C? Well, it wasn't there. I'm like, it's not there because it's provided to me from the controls contractor. And they're like, oh, and I'm like, I don't know how there's a miscommunication. We've been working on this for 6 months. I have recorded videos of this. And that's when I kind of have to just step back and go, do people really understand what we're doing? Like, and think about it too, is like with commissioning, it's like, we're just like, they think we're just flying by night. We're like a stork, except we're not dropping off a baby. It's like, we're coming to basically and check in on the baby. You know what I mean? And then like, oh, well, you're not here that often. We don't really know what you're doing. It's like, you're voodoo. We're going to talk about that more. Right. But checklists, I can see your point completely, because I'm always like a person that says, if you follow the process, right. But at the same time, I don't know, I'm a process kind of guy. I'm a linear kind of person, but at the same time, I do sweep in and out. And I've actually never thought about that until you just said that. So that's the
process is important because it tells you do this before this and then that. That matters, right?
Yeah.
But what you can't do is accept checklists as evidence of work.
No. Okay. For people who own a house, right? And anybody who's ever painted the walls or basically painted the ceiling, or for anybody who's ever put tile on the ground, I always joke with people and say, so are you going to put your carpet in before you paint the walls or the ceiling? No. So you basically want to follow the process. But in construction, especially these days, and everybody knows this in construction, is like, you have the Gantt charts, you have your pull plans, you have everything, right? And you have to like hit. We're waiting on this, we're waiting on that. So people just go, I did my part. And you're like, wait a minute. You rocked up the wall. There's no electrical in there. Wait a minute. Oh, shoot. You're not done yet. You knew I wasn't done. We talked about this, but they didn't. So they're like, well, I checked it off. And it's
the important word here that is unspoken is called verification, right? So not trust but verify. Verification matters, right? Because what you want to know is, has it actually been done? Does it work? Does it perform? Period.
Those are three big questions. Was it done? Does it perform? Like, is it accepted? Like
but this is why. So let's talk about project management and commissioning management.
Yeah.
PMP, the conceit is you can just follow the process. Any discipline doesn't matter, and you could be good, right? I call bullshit on that. You do need domain knowledge. If you're running a property development and construction project, you need construction knowledge. Otherwise, you're going to get shafted. If you're a commissioning manager, managing a commissioning process, you need commissioning knowledge, because you've got to know when you're offered a checklist, that whether it's BS or not, right? You've really got to be the verifier. If you're a project manager or a commissioning manager, you've got to verify that the work has actually been done.
Well, okay. So once again, sometimes, how many commissioning people are on site every day? They're not. Okay. Usually at the end, they'll be there, right? But at the same time, there's, let's just be real. There's not enough fee in there to be out there every day. So you have to trust the thing called a CX team, right? Yeah. You're supposed to be trusting people in the field. Yeah. Okay. And every now and then, like, you'll get a champion in the field that they'll be like, okay. So if there's not a champion, right, what's there supposed to be, right? Beep, beep, a little picture. So then you're asked for, like, oh, by the way, in the specs, oh, we're going to take pictures every day. What do they take pictures of? Like, some crane has a picture that basically just watches people going on the site. But nowadays, with all the pictures, that like a cop, like basically they got a camera, right? Everyone's like, you see the body cam. Where's the body cam on a construction site every day? I want to see what you're working on. I want to see that you didn't go and put it up, because sometimes, like with our envelope, you put it up, you can't see it. Like something below it, plumbing, you put it up, you can't see it. Or you put a drain in the wall that, you didn't know that it was there in the wrong place. And then someone goes, it's leaking. Okay, I'm sorry. I can't check every single valve. I can't check every single pipe. I would like to, but where are the cameras? Where is the trust and the verified picture Like, that's what I don't understand is, and I'm getting, this is frustrating me because I don't get it that there's so much technology out there. We can almost go to Mars, but yet we can't produce a working picture.
So they say, right? That's my line. We've been building buildings, what, 5,000 years at least, and we can't build one that actually works with no defects.
I hate to even hear that, and I don't want to laugh at it, but everybody's going to go, you're exactly right. But every day, this just keeps on repeating. It shouldn't be this difficult. And trust me, people who are watching this, we're just as frustrated. And we're, Adam and I mean, I'm a very meticulous person, and it's just like,
But here's my elevator pitch for commissioning. It's this. The AEC industry cannot design and produce a building that works. My team come in and make sure it's all working before you get that building. You need to be on that wall.
Jerry Maguire, the movie, I love the movie, right? Where it's just like, it's like, show me the money. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just like, help me, help you. You know what I mean? Help me, help you. I think that should be a meme right there. Okay. Oh, and yeah. I think we should put one, because it's just like in commissioning, it should be like, help me, help you. And if we imagine if everybody worked together, and also too, is remember the other whole thing about it, the Jerry Maguire is less clients. Yeah. More interaction with like the agent.
Remember, he got fired for that, right?
Exactly. He got fired because they want to make more money. But what if we had CX people that only had 5 jobs, not 25? What if we were really dedicated? What if the fees were more so we could spend more time on site and doing less paperwork checklists? We could actually see it with our eyes so we could verify, because that's what we're paid to do, right? We're paid to verify.
There needs to be consequences for no work. That's the problem. But to wrap it up, two things. I've got 2 thoughts. One is the kickoff meeting should start with that meme. Help me, help you. Which are
I'll do. I'm going to do it from now on. I'm like, everybody, I'm going to do that. I'm going to wear a Jerry Maguire shirt. Help me, help you.
Yeah. But on checklists, and again, BCA, I see what you're doing in your newsletter there. But I think I would estimate, and there's no science on this whatsoever, 50% of all checklists are utter bullshit. And you should treat them with the skepticism they deserve. They are necessary, but they are not enough.
That's a good way to put it. They are necessary, but not enough. And I think the next part of the not enough has to be more defined. And once again, that's, for me, it's always the teamwork that has to be defined. And maybe that's what is the missing gap. I don't know.